Yes, your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to part 2 of the Kicking It session with Hotep Jesus. We talk hacking Twitter. We talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton. We talk about the dangers of white liberals, Trump, and also a little bit about Gary Vee. I didn't know he talked to Gary Vee over the weekend and had a couple of Twitter fingers back and forth with him. We'll talk about that as well. Stay tuned, get that popcorn, and we out of here, people. How? Fast enough, right? If I've been programming all my life, or you got a Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, he's been programming all his life. Uncle Henry can't, who worked at Henry Ford or, whatever, GM, he ain't going to be able to get up and start coding tomorrow,
No.
So it creates an issue there. But speaking on the whole internet thing, tell us about your movement, man. You got over 100,000 Twitter followers. You primarily use Twitter. I like Twitter myself. It's less superficial. It's more intellectual, if I can say. Yeah. Tell us about social media, why you chose Twitter, how you got 100,000. You got a book that kind of describes this whole get up and how your strategy on gaining and hacking Twitter. Kind of just give us that whole spiel.
Yeah, so this is very wrong phrase that people run around with that says don't put all your eggs in one basket. You should absolutely put all your eggs in one basket, right? Mm-hmm. The only time you don't want to put your eggs in one basket is in investing in with women.
We're gonna get to that one too, boy. You got a tweet you put out, man. I was like, man, this guy is going in. So finish with the Twitter, with the whole Twitter thing though.
So it's like we have a finite amount of time. People say, oh, you got a certain amount of time in a day. And I'm like, yeah, you can spend your time trying to update all these different social networks, but you're going to find that one is going to be more successful than the other. And I'm like, well, the time I could spend trying to do Instagram and Twitter at the same time, or Facebook and Twitter at the same time, it's just like I could spend that time just, mastering Twitter and being great at Twitter. So that's what I did. I centralized, put all my eggs in one basket. I left all the other social networks, and just focus on that. And 100,000 followers, and I got on Joe Rogan and making money, and we got crazy traction on these apps that we got, Bitcoin, Coinbits, and Jiffertize, etc. And in the few I got coming, So
this book kind of explains your strategy.
This book is like nothing people have ever seen before. A lot of times it disgusts me. People write these marketing books and these business books, and you open them up. It's full of a bunch of shit you can find on Google. It pisses me off, right?
Right.
So I wanted to bring something to the table, which is just raw, straight up, just, wisdom, real practical knowledge, not some theory. Like there's a lot of people running around here saying they do marketing. They got, they're following 20,000 people and they got 19,000 followers saying they got 19,000 followers. No, you have negative 1,000 followers.
Right.
And you saying you do marketing. So it's about taking the money I put into my education. I spent thousands on courses and books, educating myself on digital marketing. I used to work for 50 Cent. I was a marketing director, regional marketing director. I handled the East Coast for him and his energy drink. So, and then I did the Carmelo project, and I did over 20 apps, between Europe and America and Africa and Jamaica too. So I have all this experience, but I didn't want to bring it in a way that was very booky or like collegey.
Right.
I wanted to chew your food for you, so when you read this book, you could just easy to digest.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about telling people what marketing really is. Like, what is branding, right? So I'm gonna tell you right now what branding is. A lot of people, you mention branding and they'll go, you got to know your mission statement, or what are your brand colors? Green does this to you and orange does that to you. And are you branding? What are you doing on Instagram? Are you branding? You don't know what the fuck branding is. I'm going to tell you what branding is. Branding equals repetition. What do you do over and over and over again? Branding equals reputation. You are what you always do. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what branding is. So I take all these pieces of marketing and business and these complex ideas, I chew them and I spit them back out at you in a way that nobody's ever presented them before. So you get it. For example, when you look at Nicki Minaj when she first started, she always had that wiggle, right? When you look at Lil Wayne, he always gonna have dreads. As soon as he loses dreads, he's not Lil Wayne no more. He's gonna be trending. That brand has changed. Ghostface used to have a what's the name?
The big joint. Yeah.
When we look at one of the branding masters, Flavor Flav, what did he always have?
That clock.
He had the clock. That's called branding. What do you do over and over again that makes people remember you? So all these concepts, I figured out what they really are, because these other people don't know what they are, or they won't tell people what these things are, and I give them to people. Nice. But it's at a real price. It's $150 for the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna get this nowhere else. And there's also things I've discovered.
Cheaper than a college course though, right?
Yo, I got a dude, Coach Joe Hart. He bought my book last August. Last month, he did his first $10,000 month. He's doing $10,000. This is net. I'm not talking about revenue. There's a lot of people out here that's doing drop shipping stores and killing themselves, you know, and making that same type of money. But you got to track inventory. You got to do this and you got to do that. Yo, Coach Joe made $10,000 last month doing eBay arbitrage and selling his eBay arbitrage handbook and selling my book. And it's because what I taught him. He's at 10,000 followers right now. How many people go from 10,000 followers from last August till now? Not a lot of people are going to get that type of growth.
Especially not on Twitter.
Not on Twitter. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to grow on Twitter. And I tell you all the little things you do that just explode your growth. Like I had this one dude, he said he read my book, and he said as he was reading my book, he was trying things, and it was just like sparks of engagement just happening. You know, but I've been on it since 2009. I know that platform like my mother. You know what I'm saying? What do
you think the next move is? The evolution of social media. Like, where do we go from here?
Evolution of social media is probably going to go to a wearable.
Okay, and augmented reality and all that stuff.
Yeah, wearable,
I can see that.
Augmented reality. That's where we're headed. Virtual reality. You see, who's the one that got the patent? Was it Apple that just filed the patent for the hologram?
I don't know.
I'm
not
Apple,
sure.
If you look it up, this is just recent. I think Apple recently filed a patent for hologram technology. So if you ever watch Star Wars and they have that communication, that hologram communication, that's coming.
So you mean Pac gonna be running around the streets, huh?
Yeah.
For real. Tupac back.
Yeah, so the AR technology that we're seeing with Snap, because Snap's the leader in AR.
Right.
We're gonna see that emerge as hologram.
I gotta say, man, Gary Vee, he's always ahead of the ball, man. He's always saying things that are gonna pop in 2 to 3 years and end up happening. Have you ever reached out to? I think that would be a nice fit. You and Gary Vee.
Me and Gary Vee just had an argument this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, he tried to say it wasn't an argument, but I'm not a Gary Vee guy. You know,
okay.
I'm familiar as people I've talked to. I'm not impressed, you know? And that's not, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. Here's the problem I got. He's recently turned to the urban community, and I've watched some of his videos, and he says, I had to eat ramen noodle, and, I was starving and working hard and all this other stuff. You ever heard him say that?
Of course.
Okay. Gary Vee took over his parents' wine business. At the time, it was already a multi-million-dollar wine.
Yeah.
It's a multi-million-dollar wine business. And he wanted to take it to the next level. And how did he do that? He said he did it with a social media content strategy. So he goes and he takes his parents' budget and he buys all his equipment. He's able to just create content, right?
Yeah.
For this company. So when I spoke to him in these tweets, you can go look at our thread, go look at me in his communications. And
how long ago was this?
Just this weekend. So in this thing, he's like, so he said he didn't take equity of the company when he left his parents' wine company. That's fine. Maybe you did. But that 4 or 5 years you spent working on their business, you got an education, you got contacts, you got leverage. Not only that, all that equipment you bought for that business, you now own. You already know how to create viral content because you've been doing it.
What were y'all going back and forth about?
I'm about to get to that. So once you go from there to, Veyer Media, where all you do is create viral videos, don't lie to black people and say you came from the bottom. You didn't. You had a great start. And that's my beef with him. Like, I don't lie to people and say, yo, I started from the bottom. I
right.
This, that, and third. No, my parents bailed me out every single time I fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, so, and then we need that though, man, because that's what our counterparts never. That's how they get ahead. Like
correct.
We
can't sit up here and lie to people in the hood and say, yo, like, I can't sit up here and lie to them, like, yo, I grind from the bottom, and if you do what I did, it'll work. No. When I needed a computer, I called my dad and he bought me a MacBook.
Yeah. Facts.
When I needed a camera to start my camera business, my dad gave me his camera, or he bought me a camera, or he bought me this, or he gave me hand-me-down. My parents supported me every minute. When I had my record label, my mom gave me a check for $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, kids from the hood don't got that luxury. So right. I'm real. When I talk to the hood and I tell them, this is what I tell them. I say, yo, look, the odds are against you. It's literally almost impossible for you to come up. But I'm going to show you how to come up. And here's the secret. And I always tell them, just fucking study, bro. Just study your ass off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do, because it's
attain knowledge, man.
And that's what's going to take you to the next level, the knowledge to get those skills, and the knowledge allow you to leverage people to get you a MacBook,
Right.
For example, if you have the knowledge, you can go get a job and the job gives you a MacBook, right? Yep. And now while you got that job, you can go get your own MacBook. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or you could use a MacBook in the meantime. You know what I mean? But you have to have the knowledge to get that job that requires a little bit more skill than the average Joe. Yeah. And it's nothing but 12 hours on YouTube, Yep. And I tell people, just follow your interests. Stay away from the TV. Stop going out with your friends. Save your money. Gary Vee says some of these things, but Gary Vee's got to be honest and say, yo, like, look,
Gary Vee is hilarious, bro. When I heard his intro, he did the intro on Jeezy's new album.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And this guy, Gary Vee, said, I sometimes wish my companies would fail so I could rise up from the ashes like a phoenix. And I'm like, man, shut up, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
You wish your companies would.
And this
Come on, Gary.
So now he's on Jeezy's album. He's going to be talking to our youth.
Facts.
Our youth. And he's going to be feeding them lies. Like, no, Gary Vee, you got to call me and we got to correct this right now. You're not going to be educated, melanated people and telling them you started from the bottom because you didn't. Please don't feed them that lie.
Do you think Gary Vee is a culture vulture?
Yes. When you do that, I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional, but when you lie to people or deceive people and say you started from the bottom, you was eating ramen noodles when your parents are multi-million dollars, I have no choice but to think you're a culture vulture. Because why are you talking to black people? You can't relate to them. Mm-hmm. Why are you talking to them? Are you invested in these companies, Gary? How many checks have you sent to the hood to start up a business, Gary?
That's my issue with Caucasians and non-black cultures. They always like it. We get to like right up to the point where it's time for them to put some skin in the game in one of our endeavors, and then that's when we start getting the runaround. Like they say they support us. It sounds good, and they may, but really you support when you put your money where your mouth is. And so many times, and we haven't gone through the whole tech side of things, because I'm a 2-time tech startup co-founder myself, and we've gone through the whole rat race of meeting with VCs, trying to get angel investment. And I talked to Mims about this because he's doing the whole tech thing now, and he just realized how crazy it is and how disproportionate it is as far as funding for black individuals in the tech game.
Yeah,
it's something like 1%, bro, like 1 or 2% of VC funding get. So you know what I'm saying?
But we not in it though. So those numbers don't really reflect a racist nature. I find black people getting into the wrong business all the time. You talk to a
What
black
you
girl,
mean?
what she want to do? She want to go into beauty. Every girl wants to be an esthetician, right? So then what happens is you create market saturation. Now we're competing with each other. Every brother want to have a
Car
podcast,
wash or barbershop.
or every brother want to have a barbershop. You know, we always go into these same businesses. We're not going into tech, which is why the money's not going to be in tech. We have to go into tech to increase them numbers and bring that. That's why I went to tech. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, there's no niggas in here. Oh, this is easy. I can occupy this space. I don't want to be where my people already are. We have to spread out, you know?
So have you been able successfully to raise yourself? I mean, prior
No.
to, okay.
I'm against raising.
Okay. That's understandable. Talk about that. I totally understand that.
I'm against raising until you have leverage. Until
Right.
they're knocking on your door,
Right.
I don't want to talk to you. Right?
So so that puts us in it's almost the cart before the horse situation then, because as a young startup individual founder, how do you garner the capital to?
You got to pay for it out of your pocket, just like you do with your studio time when you're a rapper. They put a lot of money into that studio. You got to put that money into your tech. So here's what I tell people: the first thing you got to do is get your knowledge up. Once you got your knowledge up, you got to establish some products and start selling some products, right? Some high ticket products, and start learning how to market these high ticket products. Once you learn how to market these high ticket products and you're making 10 G's a month, right? Now you can take 5 G's aside and put it in, start stacking for your startup. You know what I mean? And now you paying for it. You call the shots. Can't nobody tell you what to do. It's your business. And it's no reason why people can't pull in. My homie almost made $1 million last year. Like, he came a few dollars short of $1 million last year just off Facebook. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and he's got his own app, and now his app is generating $10,000 a month. He might do $2,000 in a day from an app, and all this is just a fitness app. It's nothing complicated. You just got to know what's on out here and just create these revenue streams, and then move them to other things that, So like, that's what I do. I mentor kids and I bring them up through that ladder to be affluent enough to invest in your own ideas. Like, I'm about to put out a CBD oil. I'm coming out of pocket for that. You know what I mean? That's a huge investment. We got to get that formulated with the chemist, packaged up, and distributed. I'm paying for that. Could I get an investor? I could, but why would I? I want all the cash.
Right.
And the other thing is, people talking about cash, man. I'd rather build equity. When you have 100,000 followers, I don't need to pay for advertising.
No, you're in a good position, but let's talk, someone that's from the ground up, they've got 10 followers, they've got no access to capital. It's just, what happens is, what I find, man, is that those individuals may have the greatest idea, but because someone else gets VC funding or angel round, they're able to get up and out to market faster than that person, and they miss the cycle.
They're going to beat us faster. We know that. We're not going to win that race. But who wins the race, the tortoise or the hare?
Right.
And you got to remember, America runs on melanin. When you go look at who's the CEO of Converse right now, a black man. Mm-hmm. How I know? I know him. Mm-hmm. Who's the VP of marketing at McDonald's? A black man. Who single-handedly saved Adidas? Kanye West.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Speaking of Kanye, bro, because I know you got to run, and we've been going for a minute here. Yeah. Kanye West, Trump. I always get excited when I see other brothers that support Trump. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is doing everything perfectly. No person that you admire, you should never think that person is perfect.
Yeah.
Tell us about what characteristics, what attributes did you gravitate to when it comes to Trump? Because, again, I'm a Trump supporter as well. And tell us also about these white liberals, man, because I think that's the biggest cancer to black communities.
Yeah, so a lot of people say, you a Trump supporter, what he says, he does this, his policy, he banned the bump stock that's against you. I'm like, yo, me supporting Trump is my protest from the left. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. That's where it begins, and that's where it ends. I think the guy's funny. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a hilarious individual. I think he's a refreshing individual to have in politics. We haven't seen anybody say what the hell they want and not be fake ever in politics. So I think this is refreshing. So I like
he's
that.
Not a politician. That's why.
Yeah, he's not a politician. So I love that. I've been waiting for the day that we didn't have a politician in a politician's role just to see what it's like. And he's freaking everybody out. I love it. But me supporting Trump is a protest of the Democratic Party. I'm protesting the left. All I want people to do is ask me, yo, why you support Trump? And I'm like, all right, you ready? Have a seat. I'm about to run through this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with that clip of Malcolm X. Now I say to black people, like, you know Malcolm X? Yeah, you like Malcolm X? Yeah, you think he's a good leader? Good. Watch this clip. And Malcolm X going to sit there and tell you why you can't mess with the white liberal.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to show you the picture of the NOI sitting down in the meeting hall with the Nazis. And then you're going to ask yourself, well, why would they do that? Then I'm going to open up the Marcus Garvey book, and I'm going to show you what Marcus Garvey was negotiating with the KKK. So motherfuckers be telling me when I'm over here fraternizing with white conservatives or white nationalists, people tell me I'm a coon. I'm like, nah, nigga, I'm Hotep. You need to go do your history.
Right.
Elijah Muhammad sat down with the Nazis. Garvey sat down with the KKK. Because the difference is you either dealing with pussies or you dealing with a man. When you dealing with a man, men gonna sit down and talk.
They gonna tell you what. Yeah, they gonna tell you what they feel.
Right. I don't care if you hate me. What do you want? What are the negotiations? Let's sit down and talk. If you got beef, let's knuckle up. We could fight right now. If you don't got beef and you just want to do negotiations, let's have that talk. We're being run by pansies. So these pansies want to shut these people out. They don't want to have discussions because they don't want to be a man and look another man in the eye.
Right.
But, for me, that's what it is. I did my history. I know who I am. When you don't know your history, of course you're going to align with the enemy. Of course you're going to align with the Democratic Party who created the term black to take your rights from you to make you 3/5 of the man. Of course you're going to align with the Democratic Party who was the same ones that gave you welfare and integration, which destroyed the black community. You know what I mean?
Sure did. Yeah, facts.
So you can deal with Hillary Clinton. Y'all voted for Hillary Clinton. I think it's the most evil thing you could do as an individual. Hillary Clinton literally exploited the 13th Amendment. Everybody wants to talk about the 13th Amendment. Yeah, she used it to take people out of prison and work on her private property. She was a modern day slave owner.
We're super predators, right? That's out of her mouth.
Predators as well. But when you take people, when you literally create a bill to lock black men up, and in a few later, you turn around, you take those same black men you locked up, pull them out of prison, and bring them onto your own private property to work as hands, as help. You're a modern day slave owner. And then you want to talk about some little shit Trump did? Oh, so you want to bring up the Central Park 5. The only thing I got to say is it believe all women or not? Because if it's believe all women in 2020, that's what Trump did. He was taking up for somebody who was alleged rapist. You can't fault somebody for taking up for a woman who was beaten. She was literally beaten. How can you say he was wrong for that? You can't. You got to find some other argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you want to look at his past. You got Diddy was at his wedding. All the money he gave to Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson gave him awards. I don't want to hear that from the black community. You know what I mean? Let's talk about black issues. When we had the Revolt Summit and Candace Owen was up there, it's a room full of black people in the black mecca. If we're talking colorful, the black mecca of America, right? In Atlanta. And what they want to talk about? Trump. What the fuck we talking about Trump for in a room full of melanated indigenous natives? There's no reason to bring up the European. Let's talk about what we gonna do for us. And that's my issue with people. They always want to bring up, the European, and I'm just not here for that.
Yeah, man, and people forget Trump actually helped Jennifer Hudson, man. When her family got killed, he put her up for a whole year in one of his suites in the Trump Tower. So this is well before he came, to the whole presidential thing. So, and rappers, niggas was always talking about Trump. I want to be Trump. I'm in the Trump Tower and this and that. So it's just funny how we flip and we follow a narrative that was painted and created by the mainstream media. And we just like black people, we just follow off the cliff, man. It's just sad.
It's like
no critical thinking skills, man.
No, and it's contradictory because they'll say, oh, the system of white supremacy. Okay, let's run with that thought. We're in a system of white supremacy. Do you think that the media is exempt from that system?
Right.
And if you know that, so then they'll say, oh, look at this headline. You know how they always say the double standard when a white man does a crime, they show a picture of him happy with his family, but when a black man does something, they got to show his mugshot, right?
With no shirt on.
Yeah, with no shirt on, right? So you complain about the media bias, right? So you know that there is a media bias. Then you turn around and believe that same media and everything they feed you just because it reaffirms your own bias. So you take that as truth. So it's contradictory in nature. You got to understand. Operation Mockingbird, Ben said that the media is a form of entertainment and deception.
Right.
The TV was created. The TV was created, I believe, by Nazis. I could be wrong, but I believe it was created by Nazis to brainwash people, and it does a great job. It's the most powerful thing on this planet.
And it's brainwashing not only blacks but whites too, man. All of us, you know. So you know, we definitely got to point that out. It's a class thing in many cases here in America, for sure. So politics, we kind of talked about that. Lastly, man, religion. That kind of, to me, is in the same vein. What are your thoughts? I know your name is Hotep Jesus, but are you a Christian? Do you still believe in that whole ideology of Jesus?
I'm a Christian sympathist.
Explain. Never heard this one before.
We're in the middle of a spiritual war. Yeah. That's what people don't understand. We're in the middle of a spiritual war. You see the conservatives, they were crying. They said they called us Easter worshipers instead of Christians, and they call us Christmas worshipers. I'm like, yeah, you're in the middle of a spiritual war. You need to recognize. You saw the Pope kissing people's feet. They trying to let you know that Rome fallen. So I was raised under Roman Catholicism. Hated it, all of it, except for the fact that mass was 45 minutes and we out of there, and them crackers was kind of tasty. Other than that, you know, other than them wafers, I really didn't enjoy it too much. But because we're in the middle of a spiritual war, I think it's very important to reaffirm the church because we're in the middle of a spiritual war, and I think it's unfair that Christians are being attacked right now when they're and sort of the psyop is you bring socialism and communism in. And then you feed this atheism thought, remove people from the idea of God so that the state can become their God and the state rules over people, you know? So although I'm not Christian, I'm a Christian sympathist, I think it's very important that we have Christianity, although I don't align with it.
Okay. And why don't you align with it? Because I'm the same thing. Like, I don't align with it. I think more so because that wasn't a religion that even existed when my ancestors were in their homeland, and you know.
Well, so we got to remember that Christianity is of African origin. You know what I mean? You're gonna see the cross come right out of Ethiopia.
In the
first Bible, stuff, all the Bible out of Ethiopia. So it is African. You know, the gnosis is predated, you know, by the teachings of Akhenaten. Amenhotep IV. You know, so my thing is with Christianity is I don't understand it. I don't know the Bible. So I don't want to pick up something and say I'm a part of something and not be able to represent. So what I've told myself is as soon as I get a free moment, I want to intern with the Hebrew Israelites. Because I also understand that the Bible wasn't written in English. And I don't want to read that motherfucker in English. I want to read it in Hebrew, the original language, right? Or at least, or Greek, right? Hebrew or Greek, but it was written in Hebrew. So until I do a year with the Hebrew Israelites, I'm not touching the Bible. I'm only going to say, look, I'm a sympathist. If, you know, whatever, if you represent this thing, that's great. I think that's great for you. But until I feel like I could represent the Bible in confidence, I don't want to perpetrate.
Yeah. I want the closest thing to the original story. You know, the ISIS, the whole
ISIS.
That whole thing, man. Like, that's closer. The whole Egyptian. I think that's closer to what the true story of whoever you want to call them.
The problem is that people are taking these teachings literally and not as allegory. And that's really what I want to do is I want to study under the Hebrew Israelites, understand what they say, what the words say, and then I want to study under somebody to learn the allegory. People that are, talking about the allegory in relation to cosmology. And then in relation to spirituality and physicality. So I want to learn it all and then come back and say, this is what I am, right? You know, it might not be Christianity at that point. I might be like, yo, I'm Hebrew Israelite.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to send you Dr. Ray Hagen stuff, man. Check him out. Again,
yeah, I think I've seen that before. I'm bad with names. I'm great with faces.
Okay.
Great with faces. You walk past me one time and I see you somewhere else. Like, I saw you on 42nd Street at 10 o'clock.
Right. Lastly, man, so we wrapping up. It's about an hour now, man. What thing do you fear the most, just in general? When you go to sleep at socialism and communism. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Socialism and communism. You know, from my studies, like I said, I spent several years studying African civilization. I spent another year studying Russia. I spent in studying Russia, I was studying socialism and communism. So I spent the last year, going on 2 years now, studying communist Russia, socialism, the birth of all that, U.S. history, and really realizing that Russia was the turning point for this era. You know, every problem we're dealing with started at Russia. That was the turning point. You know, because Russia was at one point was an industrial leader. When the North was surrounded by, I believe it was France took the South and Mexico, and Great Britain took the North through Canada. The North had to call Russia, like, yo, we need help, bro. We need some resources. We need some boats. We need some, some naval ships, some guns, some money. And at the end of the war, the North actually had to buy Alaska from Russia as part of the compensation, So Russia was a power. So then we look at how Russia went from Tsarist Russia to communist Russia, and then how that spread throughout the world and how those socialists came here to America and spread socialism. I'm like, really, socialism is the big evil, because once you centralize everything, it's easy to take power.
Yeah, creativity is stifled, all types of stuff. I hear you on that, man. Last question: top 5, dead or alive?
Hip hop. Oh, top 5, dead or alive. All right. Number 1, we going with.
You don't have to go any order, just because that's hard enough.
I'm going in order.
Oh, okay.
Number 1, Pop. Number 2, Kanye West.
Oh.
Dead or alive, right?
Dead or alive.
Number 3, Jay-Z.
Okay.
I'm from up north. I got a lot of Jay-Z bars.
Yeah, me too. I'm always quoting Jay-Z joints.
Yeah.
That's 3.
Number 3. Number 4, Snoop.
Number
5, Busta Rhymes.
Wow. Yeah, Busta got some bars, no doubt. I ain't never heard nobody put Busta in top 5. That's a good one. Jadakiss, Busta, those are slept on cats right there.
There's a lot of cats I could put in that top 5.
Yeah.
That I can swap out.
Yeah, you can swap out.
Not including Busta is a
that's true.
Diss to hip hop, yo.
That's true. Well, I'll have to have you back on, man, because I want to talk Nipsey, that whole thing. We didn't get a chance to talk about just metaphysics and the universe and stuff. So I'll definitely have to have you come back on, man. Any last thoughts?
Nah, we covered everything, man. For the people that want to get my book, you can go to my Twitter, and just at Hotep Jesus. It's right in the link in my bio. All my apps are there. Just hit that link right there in my bio. And you know what I mean? For everybody that's melanated, stay melanated. If you European, be a proud European. Like I always say, white power to white people, black power to black people. I appreciate you for bringing me on.
There you have it, bro. No doubt. Again, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check out his website. Definitely subscribe and follow him on Twitter. That guy got some tweets for you.
Yeah, just
your
make
boy
sure
Crypto Blood. That's another kick in the session. My man Hotep Jesus. We out of here. How?
I got big plans.